Everything happens for a reason. Welcome back to Echo English. Have you ever spent months or even years working toward a dream only to watch it disappear in a single moment? Have you ever trusted someone with all your heart only to see them leave without explanation? Have you ever looked at your life and wondered why everything seems to be going wrong while everyone else appears to be moving ahead? If you have ever asked yourself these questions, you are not alone. Every human being, no matter how successful they become, reaches a point where life feels confusing. There are moments when nothing makes sense, when our plans fall apart, and when our hearts are filled with disappointment. During those moments, one sentence is often repeated: everything happens for a reason. But what does that really mean? Is it just something people say to make us feel better? Or is there a deeper truth hidden behind those words? The reality is that when we are in pain, we rarely see purpose. We only see the loss, the failure, the rejection, or the disappointment. Our minds become so focused on what we wanted that we fail to notice what life is trying to teach us. But as time passes, many people discover something surprising. The very events they once hated often became the turning points that shaped their character, changed their direction, and led them toward the better future. Life has a strange way of connecting the dots, but it only makes sense when we look back. Today, let me tell you a story that beautifully explains why some of the worst moments in our lives can become the greatest blessings in disguise. The story of Arjun. Arjun was an ordinary young man from a small town, but his dreams were anything but ordinary. Ever since he was a child, he believed that if he studied hard, worked honestly, and never gave up, life would reward him. His parents weren't wealthy, but they gave him everything they could. They sacrificed their own comforts so that he could receive a good education. Every time Arjun saw the tired faces of his parents returning home after a long day of work, he silently promised himself that one day he would change their lives forever. While his friends spent evenings playing games and enjoying life, Arjun stayed inside with books spread across his table. There were nights when he barely slept, there were birthdays he missed, family gatherings he skipped, and vacations he never took because every moment was dedicated to one goal. He believed that every sacrifice would one day lead him to success. Years passed, and finally, the opportunity he had been waiting for arrived. His dream company announced new job openings. Arjun prepared harder than ever before. He revised every subject, practiced every interview question, and imagined the day he would finally receive the acceptance letter. In his mind, his future had already begun. He imagined buying a better home for his parents, paying off their debts, and giving them the peaceful life they deserved. Then came the email. His heart raced as he opened it, expecting to read the words he had dreamed about for years. Instead, he saw a sentence that shattered his world. We regret to inform you that you have not been selected. For a few moments, everything became silent. He couldn't believe that he was reading. He refreshed the page again and again, hoping there had been some mistake, but there wasn't. His dream had disappeared in just a few seconds. The following weeks became some of the darkest days of his life. He stopped talking to friends. He avoided family gatherings because he didn't want people asking about the results. Every morning he woke up with the same painful thought: why did this happen to me? I worked harder than everyone else. I did everything right. Why wasn't it enough? What hurt him the most wasn't simply losing the job, it was losing the future he had imagined for so many years. Sometimes the hardest thing to let go of isn't a person or an opportunity, it is the picture of the life we believed we were going to live. Months later, while Arjun was still trying to rebuild his confidence, his uncle asked him to help renovate an old house. At first, Arjun agreed only because he had nothing else to do, but something unexpected happened. As he helped redesign rooms, choose colors, and create beautiful spaces, he felt happiness he hadn't experienced in years. For the first time, he wasn't working because he had to, he was working because he genuinely loved it. After completing the renovation, he shared a few photographs online. A stranger saw his work and asked if he could redesign another home. The project led to another. Soon, people began recommending him to their friends. What started as a small favor slowly turned into a successful interior design business. Years later, Arjun wasn't just earning a good income, he was doing work that excited him every single day. One evening, while cleaning old documents, he found the rejection email that had once broken his heart. He read it carefully, smiled, and quietly whispered, "Thank you." Years earlier, those words would have sounded impossible, but now he understood something life had been trying to teach him all along. If he had received the job he wanted, he would never have discovered the work he truly loved. What he once believed was the worst day of his life had actually become the first day of a completely different future. The hidden purpose behind pain. Stories like Arjun's remind us of something important. Most of us judge our lives too early. We think one failure defines our future. We believe one rejection determines our worth. We assume one closed door means there are no more opportunities waiting for us. But life rarely works that way. Think about nature for a moment. A seed must disappear beneath the soil before it can become a tree. From the outside, it looks buried, it looks forgotten, yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. Its roots are growing stronger every single day. In the same way, many of the difficult seasons in our lives are quietly preparing us for something bigger than we can currently imagine. Pain has a unique way of teaching lessons that comfort never can. Success often gives us confidence, but failure gives us wisdom. Rejection teaches us resilience. Loneliness teaches us how to enjoy our own company. Loss reminds us to appreciate what truly matters. Challenges reveal strength we never knew we possessed. Every difficult experience leaves us with a choice. We can allow it to make us bitter, or we can allow it to make us better. Life is still writing your story. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that the chapter they are living today is the entire story. Imagine reading only one chapter of a novel where the main character loses everything. You would never assume that is how the story ends. You would keep reading because you trust that the author has a bigger plan. Yet, when something painful happens in our own lives, we often act as though the story is already over. Life is still writing your story. The disappointment you are experiencing today may become the reason you discover a talent you never knew you had. The relationship that ended may prepare you for someone who truly values you. The opportunity you lost may lead you towards something even greater. Sometimes life removes what is merely good because it wants to make room for what is truly meant for you. That doesn't mean every painful event is good or that suffering is easy. Some experiences are deeply unfair and genuinely heartbreaking, but even then, we still have the power to decide what those experiences will mean for the rest of our lives. We cannot always choose what happens to us, but we can choose what we become because of it. So, if life feels confusing right now, don't lose hope. If your plans have fallen apart, don't assume your future has disappeared. If a door has closed, don't spend your entire life staring at it. Turn around, there may already be another door opening behind you. Remember, life is like a giant puzzle. When you are holding only one piece, it doesn't make sense. But as the years pass, more pieces fall into place and the picture becomes clearer. One day, you may look back at the moment that made you cry and realize it was also the moment that quietly changed your life forever. Until then, keep believing, keep learning, keep growing, keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Trust that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Because sometimes the greatest blessings arrive disguised as disappointments. And perhaps everything doesn't happen for a reason by itself. Sometimes the reason is created by the courage, wisdom, and hope we choose to bring to what happens next. Thank you so much for watching Echo English. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs hope today. Before you leave, here is today's question. Has a painful experience in your life ever led to something unexpectedly good? What did it teach you? Share your story in the comments. You might inspire someone who's going through a difficult chapter right now.